of Wild Oats Toastmasters since October of 1990. That's nearly 34 years. Now, that's not the funny part, actually. It gets funnier as we go on. She continues to work through the Toastmasters program and has begun a new path, engaging youth. Her project today is from Level 1, Introduction to Vocal Variety and Body Gestures. So those are the skills that she'll be focusing on soon. Then I'm going to playing the cards at 5, 6, and 7. 5 for the green, 6 for the yellow, and 7 for the red card. Please join me in welcoming Connie Paus with her speech, I Blame It on Toastmasters.
Thank you so much, Bev. Fellow Toastmasters and guests around us in the park, if you happen to be listening. I have told you in the past that I consider myself a bit of a walking disaster. All manner of misfortunes seem to befall me, and fall is certainly the operative word. My misfortunes happen with my friends, on vacation, and some I can even blame on Toastmasters. Now, my first Toastmasters misfortune happened when I was a very new Toastmaster. I had attended a couple of conventions, district conventions in Saskatchewan, and now I was going to venture to Alberta. I was traveling with some experienced members and really looking forward to expanding my horizons. The plan was to drive all day on Friday and arrive on time for Friday food and fun and festivities. I took Thursday afternoon off work so that I could do my weekend things. I ran a couple of errands, I got a few groceries, and my last stop was at the liquor store because I had learned that it's customary to have something good to enjoy in your hotel room when you're at a convention. Now, it was a fine November day. The sun was shining very much like we see today. It was dry. Everything was dry as I walked into the store thinking, what should I purchase? I settled on some amaretto. I find that so yummy. Now, as I was walking out of the store on this very fine, sunny, dry day, my foot slipped on some grit in the pavement, and down I went. I was in pain. I knew I'd hurt myself. It so happened that there was a lady walking towards me in the parking lot, and she asked, "Are you okay?" And I answered her, "No, I don't think I am." To which she replied, "Oh, well, that's all right then," and she proceeded to walk into the store. So much for her assistance. I managed to get myself to my feet and I hobbled to my car. I drove home so that I could call my doctor, thinking about how I'm going to unload my car. And there was a message on my voice message at home saying that my daughter was ill. She wasn't feeling well. Could I pick her up at the school? Phoned the school. Sure, I'll come pick up my daughter, but I'd hurt myself, so I couldn't come in. Could they watch for my car and just send her out to me? Which they did. We drove to the doctor's office, and when we were sitting in the waiting room, the pain must have shown in my face because my doctor actually came out into the waiting room, took a quick look, and said, "You have to go to emergency because I'm sure you've broken something and I can't help you here." The receptionist helped me to my car and I drove to what was then the Plains Hospital. We pulled into the emergency room parking lot and I just couldn't go any further. I told my daughter to go into emergency and tell them that her mom was hurt and could they come with a wheelchair. Well, come they did with the wheelchair, and in we went. Nikki was about 8 at the time, I think, and they let her push my wheelchair from emergency to x-ray and back to emergency again because yes, I had a broken bone and a cast was needed. The good news, I didn't break the bottle. This, ladies and gentlemen, was my very first bone break, and I blame it all on Toastmasters. Now fast forward a few years, it was a November day, again in November, a Monday at noon this time, and for some reason our Wild Oats meeting was canceled. Now, we have a mantra that you never cancel a meeting, so I'm not sure what was up with that. Still, my coworker and I decided to take advantage of that time, and we went to the mall to do some shopping. When we came out to head back to work, the weather had turned nasty. There was freezing rain and snow and ice. We walked oh so carefully, but the ice got the better of me, and down I was hurt. Maureen helped me to my feet. We were still a few blocks from the office, but we began that long and agonizing walk. We were in the back alley behind our office building, and I could not go any further. I leaned on some concrete by the alley, and she went upstairs to get my car keys, drove me to the general hospital, where once again someone rushed into emergency to say, "My friend is hurt. Can you come with a wheelchair?" And come they did. I was triaged almost immediately into an examining room where they discovered my shoulder was dislocated, my arm was broken, very high up. The good news this time, I have a steel plate and screws in my arm, which meant I didn't have a cast. Ladies and gentlemen, had it not been for that canceled meeting, I'm sure I would have avoided that bone break. So yes, I blame it all on Toastmasters. Forward in time some more. April 2020, the world was in a pandemic. Couldn't go anywhere, couldn't see anyone. Our contests were all online. I was supposed to be a judge that fateful Saturday afternoon. It was such a beautiful day. I had to go for a walk. So I was walking and gawking, and a few blocks from home still, when I stubbed my toe on a crack in the sidewalk, and down I went. From bitter past experience, I figured my shoulder was dislocated. A lady in a house across the street was having a smoke, and she came over to ask if she could be of help. This was very brave because at that point we weren't having physical contact with one another. I was so grateful for her kindness as she held me to my feet. I didn't even think about calling an ambulance. I called my daughter, who rushed over and took me to the Pascal Hospital, where my self-diagnosis was correct. My shoulder was dislocated. The good news this time, I didn't break a bone. But still, I blame it all on Toastmasters. Ladies and gentlemen, I could regale you with tales of broken bones and mishaps that have taken me to emergency rooms across Regina. Suffice it to say, I have 3 stories. I have 3 different hospitals, and I have 3 good news outcomes. Just like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, or the 3 Little Pigs, it's the power of 3. And I blame it all on my Toastmaster